Hello, this is Vlad, and today I will be interviewing Crypto Brekkie, who is a famous crypto Twitter character who speaks in a German accent. Welcome to the Crypto Insider interview, Brekkie.
Dankeschön. I don't know that I'm famous. Also, what accent? I don't know what you're talking about. This is just how I talk.
Oh, yeah, obviously. That's how you got famous, and I guess you're best known as in this space for doing blockchain and Morty, and I see that you have a poster framed behind you.
Yeah, I had to get myself a poster. First of all, I got into it actually. Yeah, I mean, blockchain and Morty was definitely like something, but I was gonna say that I don't know if people know this. You were like the very first person I think who ever wrote about blockchain and Morty. And I like read the article and I was just like, I like this guy. He's cool. He gets it.
I actually remember writing that it was called Blockchain and Morty is the spirits of crypto Twitter or something.
Yeah,
I was
I
at
saw that.
at the time, a different media outlet. And it was actually my boss who pitched it to me and said, Vlad, this is really cool. I think Rick and Morty have a lot in common with crypto. And you should write about this because I think a lot of crypto people are fans of the show. So I did.
It was a great idea. You should do it again.
I should, but you should release
Follow
more
up
episodes.
piece.
To be honest, I didn't like
Yeah,
the
no.
one which was based on the early pilot, which has worse graphics. You know,
Oh, like the first episode?
is it the first
Which one
episode?
was it?
Not the one from the show which we know with the 3 seasons. It was maybe an early concept.
Oh, no, that was a so that was actually an Australian version. These Australian animators, they made a like they like did their own version of Rick and Morty in the style of their like weird Australian cartoon. I can send you their cartoon so you can see what it was. So it wasn't. That's not really officially from the Rick and Morty people. I think they said okay, they gave their permission, but it wasn't. It wasn't official. So it's a very weird animation style. I don't love it either, but I thought for to make fun of Craig Wright because he's Australian, I thought it would be fun. So I
Oh, now
wanted
I
to
get
try.
it. Now it makes sense. I was like, why
Yeah.
did you pick this ugly animation for your episode? And why did you choose to focus on Craig Wright for some odd reason? And the whole point is that Rick and Blockchain and Morty are looking for Satoshi and they know that it's Craig Wright. And Craig Wright is waiting in his home doing nothing basically. And the premise of the whole episode is that they're trying to get there. And when Rick or Blockchain gets to Craig Wright, they're actually friends. And how does that make sense?
Yeah, it didn't really make sense. That's kind of the whole point. I didn't want it. I didn't really want it to make sense. I just wanted to make Craig Wright look bad, um, and make him seem like a crazy person. So,
Wait,
because I
you
think he's
have
a
to
bit crazy.
try to do that?
No.
Really? Does it take any
Yeah,
kind
he
of
does it by
effort
himself.
to
But
produce some kind of entertainment which makes Craig Wright look funny or uninteresting or crazy?
you're right. It was very lazy on my part. I could have done better. I could have done way better.
Just post the top 10 Craig Wright tweets compilation.
Dude, I looked at one of his tweets. I mean, it's like all of his tweets, but I read it and I was like, this sounds like the Emperor in Star Wars. Like it sounds like an evil genius. Like he tweets like he's in a movie. I don't get him. I don't understand. I mean,
Yeah,
I do. He's just like an egomaniac, but
I guess that's why people call him like a Bond villain. They say that
yeah,
he looks
exactly.
like one, he drinks like one, he has the accent of one.
Let's just hope he also, goes down like one. I don't.
I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of people seem to honestly believe that he is Satoshi and give him credit and believe that his vision for Bitcoin with 1 GB blocks, and the enterprise and government friendly version of Bitcoin is what he calls it.
Maybe. I don't know. I think the thing is, like, if he was Satoshi, prove it. Like, it's not hard, you know? And I think someone with an ego that big would prove it if he could. And that's why I don't think he can. I don't know. I think Hal Finney was Satoshi, to be honest. That's my guess.
I'm
I
more
like
of
to
a
think
Nick Sabo guy.
so. Could be. We are all Satoshi. That's the important part,
Well,
except for Craig Wright.
what's the text on that mug you're drinking from?
Um, it says Satoshi droppers on it. So, and it says proof of community, drop Satoshis, not bombs. Crypto creators and influencers. So the Satoshi Droppers was a group of is a group of people who I became a part of. It started on Instagram, and then we all kind of made our way to Twitter, and we're all a bunch of content creators who sort of banded together to like support each other's work, and then we all became friends. And they're like some of my oldest friends in crypto. So kind of just an interesting group. People like BitBoy, if you know him, and the Coin Boys podcast. Kind of a bunch of people who started growing and creating content at the same time, and we all just supported each other and continue to support each other.
That's really nice.
Sorry if I'm a bit under the weather. I'm recovering from a bachelor parties this weekend. Have you ever been on one of those?
No,
Do you guys do that in Romania?
it's not really part of the tradition, but sometimes people do it just for the sake of having that kind of fun. But I never been to one before. I'm not sure if I will ever go to one because my friends, I don't really have many friends, and I don't think my brother, if he gets married, will do one. So, no.
Yeah. Well, if I ever get married, you're invited to the bachelor party, but you have to come to wherever we're going, or we'll do it in Romania. That would be fun.
Okay, sure. I can be your vampire guide.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a thing? Like, are people like? Is that like a big joke? Not a joke, but like everyone's there to find vampires, or no?
Well, you have a German ancestry, right? And I think
Uh,
about Germans.
yeah.
When you think about Germans and their stereotypes, you think about these Bavarians in the south who drink beer and eat their Wurst or whatever you call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Sausages. And they have these silly green costumes. And it's the same with Romanians. We didn't even have the idea of Dracula until Bram Stoker wrote the novel in the early 20th century. And from that point on, it just exploded and it grew out of proportions. And some people have figured out that it can be a good selling point for tourism. And that's why some crazy politician wanted us to have Dracula Parkland, which is like a fun place to go with roller coasters. It's like a theme park for Dracula. But it was
I
never
love that. Well, for everyone watching, so I'm in Los Angeles and Vlad is in Romania, and we were trying to find a time that works for both of us. And I was like, well, how about 11 o'clock in the morning my time? Like, oh, that's late at night for me, but that's fine. That's fine. I love the nighttime. So I'm suspicious now. You being up at night, I think maybe you're a vampire.
Yes, I am. This is almost 10 p.m. in Romania, and if I were to say hello to you, I would say Guten Abend.
Guten Abend. Maybe that should be your new Twitter handle. You can be like the crypto vampire, for your alt account.
Yeah, sure. I would be much more famous than the crypto dog or the crypto, what's his name, Randy Marsh.
It's going to be really interesting, I think, when crypto grows a lot more and more people join crypto Twitter, and they're like, who the hell are all these people? Because like I know even I joined Twitter like a year ago, and I was like, who the hell are all these people? So I don't know. I love Twitter. It's this weird, amazing.
I think I
Sometimes
lost you for a
weirder than
second.
testing.
This is good. You don't have
Hello?
to test.
Yeah. Testing. No, I was saying that I think when people join Twitter, when like crypto starts growing a bit more, it's going to be very interesting to see their reaction with all these like anonymous accounts. Like, who is a crypto dog? Who is Randy Marsh? Like, who is the crypto vampire? You know.
I was
You
just
lose me again.
yeah. Why did you choose Crypto Brekkie as in breakfast instead of Crypto Dinner, which is more romantic?
That's true. So that's a good question. The end of last year, when we were having the crazy bull run, um, every day my roommate would wake up and we talk about crypto and we get breakfast. And one day he texts me and he says, "Crypto breakfast?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a cool name or a cool like phrase." Um, so that's where it kind of started. And then I called myself Crypto Breakfast for a while, and I realized it was kind of confusing because it's not really a name. Maybe a name for like a TV show. And so I shortened it to Brekkie, and I revealed my last name, von Bitcoin. And here we are.
Where is this kingdom or region of Bitcoin or a town of Bitcoin? Because in Germany, when you have von, it actually means that it's you are from a place.
Well, Bitcoin's everywhere. You know, it's not physical. But I hail from a very small town hidden away in the Alps. You wouldn't be able to pronounce the name. I can't pronounce the name. And I just say von Bitcoin to make it easier for everyone else.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. A
Oh yeah.
town that is so obscure and so hard to pronounce that not even the ones who come from there and were born there can say it. It's like town Voldemort.
Exactly.
And that's a
I
good
like that.
tie-in with Voldemort because Grin, which is something that you're mining in the back, is something which was developed by Tom Elvis, whatever, which is the French name of Lord Voldemort in the books.
Yeah, I actually love that's the only reason I'm mining it, is because I love Harry Potter. That's it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, not the privacy, not the scalability, not, you know, the innovations in the blockchain, just because it's Harry Potter. So fun fact.
And it was also developed by Tom Elvis Jedusor.
Yes. I love the like mythology of it. Like, so Tom Elvis Jesidor, and then like Ignatius Peverell developed Grin, who's like the guy who had the invisibility cloak. Like, I think the metaphors are like spot on.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. Mimble Wimble, which is a spell which makes your tongue twist so you cannot pronounce the next spell which you're about to cast.
Exactly. So people in crypto need to be more creative. There's all these like ridiculous sounding names that make no sense. These have like meaning. So I think some of the Grin community like wants to get away from the Harry Potter reference, but whatever, screw them. I
But
like
what
it.
about the Beam community? What is that big difference? Where do you draw the line between Grin and Beam?
Um, I'm thinking about mining Beam also. I don't know. Um, I was kind of just, I really liked the Grin community. I started watching like videos from like the Grin conferences, um, and having like an anonymous founder, having no founder reward and no pre-mine. You know, I liked that they were trying to have a really fair launch. So I don't know. I'm definitely a fan of anything with Mimble Wimble. I can't say that. But we'll see. I'm not one of those people who, unless it's Bitcoin, I'm not going to be like, oh, this coin is best. This one's going to win. This is going to be the best coin ever. Like, I think nobody knows, and anybody who thinks that they do know, like, is stupid. So, I like to just see how things play out. Like, I really like Grin, and I like Beam, and I'm kind of excited to see which, if they become popular. So we'll see. I know Monero is also working on a Mimble Wimble sidechain, which is really exciting too. So we'll see.
I think Beam is a better store of value than Grin for the simple
Yeah.
reason that it has a fixed supply. And you also have halvings, just like in the case of Bitcoin. So the monetary policy
Mm-hmm.
is designed to actually create scarcity. Whereas in the case of Grin, which is the more cypherpunk project, it's all about money that
Yeah.
you should be transferring fast. You should get it across as fast as you can. It's not about getting speculative value in time. It's all about being private.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. But also, I think, I don't know, I was reading that even though like it's 60 Grin every minute forever, eventually the idea is that you reach such a massive Grin that the new Grin is a very small addition. It's almost like how with gold, there's still gold being added to the supply every year, but because the existing supply is so great that it's a very small percentage. So I don't know. Like I was confused by that also. Part of why I love Bitcoin is I love the scarcity of it. But when I was reading like the logic behind Grin, I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense, and especially if it's meant for payments. So we'll see. We'll see. I think there's a lot of room for privacy coins, unlike other cryptos out there. So we'll see.
Yeah, I actually had an interview yesterday with Fluffy Pony, and he told
Oh,
me,
really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
he told me how far he has come with that side chain in terms
Mm-hmm.
of developing it for Monero. He's enthusiastic about Mimble Wimble, but at the same time, he says that it's useful that we have two implementations which run with their proprietary blockchains, as we are able to see
Mm-hmm.
potential issues. With Bitcoin, we were able to test on the real market and see the behavior and all the problems that it can potentially have. And with Wimble Wimble, it should be the same. We should have the experience of longer running networks and protocols which get improved before we can actually implement it into something which is much more stable and more time tested.
Yeah, I agree. Did you also see? I have to go back and read it. I was trying last night and I was just tired. This new thing called Taproot. You know about Taproot?
Oh yeah,
Um,
I read the article by what's his name, Aaron von Virdum, Van Virdum,
yeah,
on Bitcoin Magazine.
I need to go back and reread it because I couldn't explain it to you. But I remember like reading the first parts and was like, oh, so that's kind of cool. No one's talking about this. So
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
about smart contracts, which can be harder to track, and you have basically you have the rules of the smart contract written down, and it's up to you, the parties of the smart contract, to decide which way it goes. And the part which gets written on the blockchain in the end and gets written into blocks is actually just the choice. But you're not going to know what other possibilities there were with the smart contract. So if I say that
Right, right.
of us are going to make a contract, and if you get the job right with blockchain and Morty, then I'm going to pay you 1 Bitcoin, and otherwise the Bitcoin is going to stay in some kind of
Like
safe
escrow.
place, escrow, yeah, then nobody's going to know the second condition unless, the situation gets settled after a while. And the situation which actually turns to be decisional is the one which is written into a block. So we have the
Mm-hmm.
privacy of our agreements. Nobody's going to know what we agreed to. But at the same time, I guess this is good.
I think so. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm just really excited to see new things get implemented on Bitcoin, because one of the things that, like, as I was like going down the rabbit hole and learning more and more, like, when I first got into crypto, I didn't like realize that the Bitcoin was like done growing. I was just like, oh, it's just, that's Bitcoin and that's what it is. And then obviously I learned a lot more, but it's like, no, like Bitcoin is going to be so much more than anything that we currently have. So, it might take a little time, but I'm really excited for all of the changes.
It has the best developers. That is something that not even the most ardent of altcoin, mm, how do you call them, advocates or evangelists or whatever.
Yeah.
But not even the most ardent of them can refute this kind of argumentation that Bitcoin has the best and most experienced and the best visionaries in the field. And they can take
Mm-hmm.
something like Schnorr signatures and Merkle trees and think of inventions which are decades old and implement them on something which is new. I remember when Schnorr signatures were proposed for the first time that there was this discussion in some altcoin communities that, Bitcoin is so old and it implements technologies that are no longer actual, and there's more recent research being done in the field. But they are very cautious and conservative, and they would not implement something which is not proven to work, or they don't review very rigorously. Rigor with
Mm-hmm.
rigor. That's not a word I use very often.
Rigorously, yeah. I saw John Carvalho last night tweeted, or somebody tweeted a video of him, and it was a really, like, it's a really important point, I think. That's kind of like, how did it go? They asked him, like, well, how is Bitcoin going to keep up with this, all of these altcoins and all of the new tech that they're implementing? And like John looked at them like they were crazy, and it was more like, I think you mean the question is like, how is these altcoins going to keep up with Bitcoin when Bitcoin has the ability to integrate any new technology into it? So not enough people think about this. And like, you look at the altcoins from 3 years ago, like they're not here anymore, So I don't know. It's a different landscape, like you look at like the developer money that's in the Ethereum landscape, for instance, like, yeah, it's huge. So I don't know that like Ethereum is going to disappear or EOS is not going to disappear because there's so much money there. But, if we're talking adoption and like where that's going to happen, like my grandma or like my friend, like they're not buying EOS, like they're going to buy Bitcoin, they're going to use Bitcoin. So we'll
I
see.
actually had this
But
conversation with Charlie Lee, and to some
mhm,
extent, he agreed that some altcoins and some experiments which are being done with altcoins are actually useful for further research and development to be integrated into Bitcoin eventually. But this is all being done at the expense of some people's investments, and that's not really fair
mhm.
in the sense that
People don't realize what they're putting their money into.
exactly they
Yeah.
think it's the next Bitcoin. They buy into all the hype. You have all these people who do nothing but tweet every day and explain to you why it's better than Bitcoin and why it's going to be the next Bitcoin, even in terms of price increase, and go from 0 to 20,000 in years. But the project is doomed from the very beginning by the lack of a very competent development team. Even though they might have all the money, they don't have the proper research.
Mhm,
And we go back to Fluffy Pony, Ricardo Spani, and
mhm,
he actually, when he is pitched any idea about any blockchain project, he asks, is it peer reviewed by an academic team? He
mhm,
requires this level of, how should I call it? You have to pass a test in order for the project to actually be relevant and be interesting to talk about. If some academics who are very good at sorry, with computer science, I was thinking of my
mhm.
field, which is political science. with computer science and engineering and cryptography. And unless there are some cypherpunks, it makes no sense for the protocol to work. And it makes no sense to present something as the next Bitcoin unless you have all these requirements fulfilled. When you buy a
No,
car,
I
you
totally
want it
agree.
to be produced by the best car makers ever. You want the best engineers, and you want it to get it. You want to get it for a fair price. If your car crashes for reasons beyond your control because it gets broken, then the company maybe should not exist and is gullible to go to trial and respond for all
Mhm.
its failures. I think it's the same with blockchain systems, but the fact that it's decentralized to some extent and we don't have proper legislation in most countries, then they get to experiment and they get to release all these projects which are questionable at best, which make great promises but end up delivering nothing.
It's true. I like your car metaphor. Like I think back, like I drive a Jeep, and there's this other company. I think it's called Bollinger, and they make it is like the most beautiful truck I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it is it's stunning, but it's new. Like I would never buy like the first car that a company ever made. You know, like it just doesn't make sense. Um, so I'm gonna stick with the originals for quite some time, I think.
I think it was the same with Tesla, and not many
Mm-hmm.
people got excited until they released that series model. Is it the free
Mm-hmm.
Tesla free? I
What is
think
this
that's the
three?
one with
I forget.
they have the S, they have the T. I'm not going to check, but anyway, it was the model which promised to be produced in a more serial way that actually served
Mm-hmm.
the interest of regular people wanted to buy. It was also the price, but the idea that it was mass produced and available for everyone. If you're able to
Yeah,
do
exactly.
that, then it means that you have passed a certain test and you're capable of actually delivering. You have a
Mm-hmm.
reputation in the game.
Exactly.
With Bitcoin, it's the cryptocurrency which everybody knows. A lot of people have heard about Bitcoin, even though it was maybe a Silk Road news piece or some kind of news about price. But it got to the level where the average person cannot distinguish between a cryptocurrency scam and Bitcoin. They're going to associate the names and say, how can you say that Bitcoin is legit when I heard that they had these fraudsters who got arrested a few months ago because they were running a Ponzi scheme? With Ethereum, it's even more complicated as you have Ponzi schemes which are built on top with tokens. And how do you explain to somebody, okay, this exists on the blockchain, but it's not Ethereum?
Yeah, they're not making it easy for us, are they?
No.
These fucking scammers. Oh, well, I don't know. I think the education's coming. You know, granted, like I like live in the blockchain world, the crypto world, so like I have these conversations a lot, but like I'm having more and more conversations with people who are interested in it and taking it more seriously, which I think is a good sign. Um, even though they'll probably get scammed and there's nothing I can do about it. But what can you do?
Well, you can try to warn people, and they're going to say you're fudster and you're a party pooper who's trying to ruin their gains and is jealous that they're making money and you're not. And I guess to some extent, we were both in the early stages drawn towards altcoins and the idea that these are actually bringing some kind of innovation and that Bitcoin
Mhm.
is the easiest and the most basic of all cryptocurrencies, and all the other ones are derived from it, hard forked or soft
Mhm.
fork or forked from the Genesis block, and actually add an extra layer of something, which is maybe some privacy, maybe a different game theory in terms of supply, maybe faster block times, which make it easier to validate transactions.
But that's the thing, like like that's definitely why I was like, oh, cool, altcoins. That's, maybe I should look into these. And like I still keep track of some of them, but you know, like the reason I think a lot of people are drawn to altcoins is because they don't fully understand Bitcoin. It takes a really, really long time to get to a level of understanding where, you can understand Bitcoin, let alone even explain it to someone else or yourself even. Um, so, like we were talking about how, what were we talking about? I'm tired. Sorry. I need more coffee. I'm not a vampire like you. What were we saying? Yeah, it takes a long time to get to a level where you understand. And I think it takes time to get to a level where you understand that you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you start to really understand. Does that understand?
And even, do you know Udi Wertheimer?
Say again?
Udi Wertheimer?
No. Who is that?
He is a developer,
Yeah.
an independent developer who works with blockchain projects. And even he himself calls himself a Bitcoin noob, despite the fact that he actually develops. And I spoke to him and he told me that every year he checks what he used to think about Bitcoin the year before. And he figures out that he has learned so much that he disagrees with his
Everything.
older self, with younger self.
It is crazy how that changes, like I remember when I first got in, the narrative was, oh, you need to spend your Bitcoin and we need merchants to adopt Bitcoin and all this. And now, like myself included, everyone's like, no, Bitcoin's a store of value for right now. And that's okay. It changes. And I think part of the key is not putting your expectations on Bitcoin. I think it was, who was it? Excelion? No, I forget who wrote it. Somebody wrote an article, and the whole idea was that, Bitcoin is, and that's enough. Like you don't have to try to make Bitcoin be something that it isn't. Then not judging something is a very powerful thing to do. It puts you in a very, I think, powerful place, more so than other people, because when you expect something to be one thing and it's not, then you get disappointed or you end up looking wrong. So
I spoke to some people and they said that this bear market is not influenced by Bitcoin's inability to scale beyond its current technical implementation. And I disagree in this regard. I think whenever Lightning Network takes over, that's when we are going to have the real bull run, because that's the true innovation which we are going to have for payments and for merchant adoption. Bitcoin in itself and every blockchain only scales in the sense that you increase the block size or you find some other workarounds to make sure that the signatures within the blocks take up less space. You have transactions which no longer take 100 kilobytes and you're going to have 2 kilobyte transactions. There are people who specifically work on that and they try to merge as many transactions as possible, like with Schnorr signatures, so that you take up as little block space as you can. And you also have people like Luke Dash Jr., who is an advocate of reducing the block size to 300 kilobytes. And he says that anything larger than that is hard to synchronize and takes a lot of time. And that's actually an issue. If you try to run a full node, you're going to wait for maybe a couple of days, depending on how fast your internet connection is, to download the whole block.
Took me about 6 days, I think, to sync, or 5 or 6 days. And I have pretty fast internet, so but I don't know. It's not the end of the world, you don't have to run a full node, and if you want to, then I think you won't mind waiting. So,
well, that depends, because if you want your Bitcoin to be censorship resistant and be able to resist.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think like we should always have the ability to run one. That having the ability to run one's powerful. But the everyday user is not going to. But I don't know. We'll see.
I actually like the effort which Costea is making right now, with the Casa node, as you have both a Lightning node, which routes payments through channels, but you simultaneously run a Bitcoin full node. And that's useful when you think about retailers who will buy a Casa node and accept Bitcoin through Lightning. Then you're going to also have node runners, people who run a full node, and that's a good idea for decentralization.
Yeah, I agree. I just did that. I set up a Lightning Bitcoin node using a Raspberry Pi, which was interesting because I'm not the most technical person. I'm learning, but not there yet. So probably should have just gotten a Casa node.
Did blockchain and Morty make you a rich man?
No, actually, I said to myself a long time ago that I wouldn't take any money for it. Mostly because, I don't own Rick and Morty, and I think it's a parody and fair use and legal, but they could probably come after me if they wanted to and shut me down. So I've been offered money. Like a couple of companies reached out and were like, "We want you to make custom Rick and Morty videos to promote our like shitty ICO." And I was just like, well, I actually told them, I was like, look, if you can fix the legal issues, if you can license it, I'm happy to do it. But if you can't figure out the legal side of it, then I just can't do it. So for now, and also I realized afterwards that by not taking money, it frees me in a way to be, to make artistic choices and to look at topics that are important to me. So, I've launched a website to sell merchandise and clothing and like artwork and that kind of thing. But I don't think I ever want to take money directly for the blockchain and Morty.
But I remember you had a tip jar.
I do have a tip jar, but nobody uses it. So I've received maybe
a donation.
I think I've got like $25 worth of crypto total ever.
Whoa.
Which, right? Like, I don't know. I kind of thought that like maybe like a big crypto whale would see it and like it and like send me a Bitcoin, but no. So crypto whales, if you're watching, please, sir, mi familia.
How do you say sir in German?
Like Herr? Like Herr von Bitcoin? Herr Brekkie?
So what's your day job? What do you do? Do you actually work in crypto when you're not working on blockchain and Morty?
So I was a film producer. That's my background. So up until recently, I was producing some like independent films. I'm still kind of working on them a little bit, but I hate producing. It's really, I think I'm good at it, but it's not fun for me. And so now, most recently, I'm just focused on crypto full time. I'm making crypto artwork. I have a couple of commissions from like various crypto companies, which is nice. And I'm basically working on launching my brand. I really enjoy design work, and I kind of realized that I didn't like any of the like crypto merchandise that exists out there. So I wanted to make my own. I'm going to shield myself right now. This is the dirty fiat wallet. And I'm wearing the sweatshirt also. I like stole it from Supreme. So I'm just making a lot of fun things that I hope people will wear. But I'm also waiting to hear about, say, a crypto TV shows that I might host. There's a network that's launching called Crypto Cake. And we filmed a bunch of pilots with them. And they want me to host like a late night crypto talk show, kind of like, I don't know, like Jimmy Kimmel type of thing, but for crypto. And the idea is it'll be called the Celebrity Crypto Show. And they want to bring on a bunch of celebrities every time to like talk to them and be like, so what do you know about crypto? And they won't know anything, and we'll talk to them and hopefully educate them. And, maybe by having, a celebrity on the show, that celebrity's fans will look at crypto in a positive way. So fingers crossed. I might be a TV show host. Might not, but we'll see.
Johnny Carson of crypto.
Yeah. Welcome to the Johnny Carson Show. I don't even know what Johnny Carson sounds like, but Yeah, exactly. Let's do that.
So you never listened to Johnny Carson in late
uh,
night television? I mean, I'm
I
Romanian. I know about that.
I've seen a few episodes, but I was always a Colbert Report fan, and John shit, what's his last name? John Stewart.
Hmm.
So those are always my like inspirations and favorites. Um, so I don't know. Imagine like a Colbert Report mixed with a little bit of I don't know, Sacha Baron Cohen maybe.
And German accent.
Yeah, exactly.
So
We'll
I
see.
guess this is going to be watched whenever you get famous, and people are going to look at this and say, "Hey, this was before he got famous. This was before he got to interview Brad Pitt in his show and explain how Bitcoin works." And you can also have what's
Can
the
you
guy?
imagine that?
Yeah,
Imagine explaining to Brad Pitt how Bitcoin works.
that's
Let's hope
insane. But
so.
or Taylor Swift. I would love to see you talk to Taylor Swift.
That would be good. So one of the songs I did with Naomi Brockwell for our Christmas album, we did a Taylor Swift version. We did a Taylor Swift version of one of her Christmas songs. So that would be really cool. Naomi Brockwell is actually like a huge Taylor Swift fan, so I think she needs to be the one to interview Taylor about crypto.
I'm also a Swifty, so
You're a
I
Swiftie.
get to compete with her for this.
So you're a Swiftie, but I'm a Swiftie, like in Rick and Morty. We
Yep.
like to get swifty, so similar but different.
You can talk to Taylor Swift and you say, "I want to get Swifty with a Swifty."
Oh, that's good. I should do a mashup. I should do like a Taylor Swift, Rick and Morty mashup. I don't know how, but
You
I'm gonna
did the
think about
Kanye
that.
West one.
Yeah. Oh, you saw that?
I
Nobody's seen
saw
that.
that. It
Yeah.
was with the latest album. What's it called? Yay.
Yeah. I
And
love
the
it.
first song
That's one of my
from it.
favorite things I ever made. But I was kind of too scared to get sued by them, so I took it down.
I didn't know you took it down, but I saw it. And
Yeah.
I was about to ask you, did you ever get contacted by any of the people behind Rick and Morty? When I spoke to
No.
Piper Coin, he told me that he actually spoke to the producers of Silicon Valley and they were amused by the idea and told him to carry on. They're not going to sue him.
Really? Huh. That's kind of interesting. So I feel like is his project real? I've met him before. Like I've even seen him without his mask on. But like I feel like he's admitted that it's just like a shitcoin to get money. I'm not sure. Like, but then I also see posts saying that like people are developing it. So I don't know.
I don't know, he has a weird sense of humor. He even has multiple accounts with the various team members from the Silicon Valley show. And he
Hmm.
even has a Twitter account for the dog.
That's funny. When I was at World CryptoCon in Vegas, and we're like having a good time, we're partying, and this guy has been like hanging out with us for like an hour or two, and we all just thought he was like some random guy who likes crypto. And after like 2 hours, he leans over and he's like, "Yo, I'm Pied Piper Coin," and we're like, "Oh shit! Why didn't you tell us?" Which was kind of funny.
I guess that's the funniest part about being him. He
Yeah,
just gets to hang out with people, and at random times he says, I'm that guy with the mask.
exactly. That happened a couple of times when I was there. Like a few like people who were anonymous who knew me from like being friends on Twitter, but like I'm so, I'm that guy. I'm the crypto dog. I'm whoever.
Oh,
So
you met the crypto dog?
I have met the crypto dog, but I can't talk about it. I can't tell you anything. I'm
Obviously.
sworn to secrecy. He's not a dog. That's what I'll say.
But he can be a dog person.
He might be a dog person. I don't even know if he has a dog. So
But he has
maybe.
such a cool picture with that
Yeah.
Labrador or Golden Retriever with the shades. That just
Oh.
says, you can trust me.
Yeah, like I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy.
But also a cool one, wears shades, Ray-Bans or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
actually thinking at some point that crypto Twitter is such a strange place that you hear more truth. You don't hear, you read, but you get more truth from characters who are actually fictional than from people wearing suits and telling you where to invest your money.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. Also, I'm a little not scared, but do you know on Instagram how there are all these like fake accounts that are like Forex binary traders? Have you seen them?
No, I don't use Instagram anymore. It's too time consuming.
Yeah.
I used to watch
They're like
the hot girls, and that would take too much time to follow them.
fair enough. But basically, there's all these like scam accounts, and then post like comment on your photos saying like, "Did you know that so and so helped me double my money in a day?" and all this bullshit. And yesterday, I got followed by two of them on Twitter, which means that like they're moving from Instagram to Twitter, and I hate them. They're the worst. It's like, oh, these scams need to go away. But what can you do?
Well, they go away by themselves if they realize that they're not making money anymore.
That's the problem. I think they are making money. I think people are not, they don't know about the scams, or they don't think about it. And so I got scams the other day, a few days ago. I'm not proud of it.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I was doing a giveaway, and I said, congratulations to so and so, the giveaway winners. Send me a DM with your address so I can send you, like I was sending them one of my wallets. And I get a message from one of the winners, and they say, hey, like, cool wallet, but like, would you just send me like Bitcoin instead? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll send you like whatever my cost would be, like $15 in Bitcoin or something. And I do that, and then a few minutes later, I get another message from the same account, but it looks like a different account. And I said, oh, fuck. And what they did, and the reason why I'm like embarrassed is because I knew about the scam. Like I saw it happen to me like a month ago, and I didn't fall for it. What they do is they take a letter in the handle, like an L, and make it a capital I, and they just pretend to be the person. And I felt so stupid, but you know, a $15 lesson versus a much bigger lesson, I'll take it. I'll take it. Not the ends of the world.
Yeah,
But
but
hope,
that 50 $15 will be worth like,
I don't want to think about it.
okay,
I don't want to think about
don't think about it. That's the
it.
best approach.
Just never, don't let it happen again. That's the moral of the story.
So
So
how did you get so famous in the space? You have, let me check, over 10,000 followers right now.
yeah, on Twitter, like 11 something. Um, I don't know. I wanted to grow like on purpose. Like I wanted to have a platform to like share content. Um, and really like it was definitely the blockchain and Morty videos that got me going. Um, and I was kind of shameless. Like I would respond to various people. Like if somebody posted something that was like sort of on topic for a video, I would just reply to them. Like somebody big, like John McAfee, I'd reply as like, take a look at this, you're gonna like it. And a lot of the times they did. And so I don't know, like I also like would engage with people. Like that's the cool thing about Twitter is, you know, you can talk with anybody. Like if you have something interesting to say, like most of the big accounts will pay attention. Some of them are assholes and they won't. But you know, everyone is accessible on Twitter, you know, which I really like. You know, my DMs are always open, and like, and if you're not scamming me or not trying to sell me an ICO, I usually respond.
Yeah, I guess ICOs are
So
just from 2017 and 2018. Now you have the STOs, security token
yeah,
offerings, and
it's
those
gonna
are
be an
much more
interesting.
compliant.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the network for the TV shows that I'm doing, they're trying to launch. They might be one of the very first STOs to launch to raise money for the network, which would be kind of cool. But we'll see.
But why does it need an STO instead of, the good old Kickstarter?
I don't know. Well, Kickstarter wouldn't work. Like for the amount of money they're trying to raise, like they're trying to raise like millions and millions of dollars, like to launch like a full TV network. So in that case, I understand. But like, why an STO versus like just a private fundraise? I don't know. I think part of it's the hype. It would sound cool to be an STO. They're a crypto company, so they like, they like being in the crypto world like that. But I'm not an STO expert, so I can't tell you.
I was just thinking, this implies that you're going to have a security token which people buy and transact. And that's basically the way to secure the financial independence of the network. I don't think that's a wise choice. You can just have, unless you hold a lot of tokens which you trade for BTC or something else, as soon as the price goes up, then you're going to see dumps and you're going to have layoffs.
Yeah. Well, I think they're raising money, but they're not raising all the money from an STO, only some of it. So hopefully they're doing it in a very smart way. But no, I agree with that. Like, because like Bitcoin's going to continue to be volatile for a long time, So,
I also heard about this approach when people do ICOs as a way to engage the community. They have their money raised and they say, how about we raise some extra money from the community, and they're going to know about it. And it's a way of spreading awareness of the project.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't want anything to do with ICOs or STOs. Is that like, I'm nothing against them, but like, I definitely want to focus on like advocating for Bitcoin and like just education in general. To me, like that's the most important part. Like people want to participate, good, let them. But
so what's next for you? What's next for Crypto Brekkie?
Well, right now I'm trying to really make some waves with my brand and with the artwork. I think content is important. I'm going to continue to make more funny videos like when I have time. But I think making some like really thought-provoking crypto art is very important and something I'd like to do. I'm working on an art piece. They don't want me to talk about it right now, but basically it's a company that deals with like NFTs and has like property on the blockchain. So I'm making them a series of like 20 pieces, and each piece is going to be registered on the blockchain, so you can see who owns it. So I'm really excited about that. Otherwise, I don't know. We'll see. I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I'm hopeful. I'm really enjoying doing like putting out design work and brand building. So if I can just keep making artwork and putting funny T-shirts on people that get people to talk about Bitcoins, then I'll be happy.
So when you say that you'll be making waves, are you speaking of the Waves project, which is ranked the 22nd on CoinMarketCap right now?
No. I mean, like making impact. Wait, is Impact the name of another project? Might be. Who knows?
I should check. Wait. IMP. Impact. That's a coin. What?
Is it?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's ranked.
Somebody was talking about it.
590.
Do you follow what's his face? Pierre Rochard?
Yeah.
I think him and Bitstein always talk about how like the English language is being taken over by ICOs. Like every word that we want to use is now a coin. We can't use any of these words anymore. It's terrible. Impact. See? Can't use that word anymore.
So impact is worth 0.0.0.285 USD. And it has
not much of an impact.
A market cap of 9 Bitcoin.
9? Oh, 9. Maybe we should do a pump and dump.
Exactly. They had one, as it turns out.
I'm sure.
Zero liquidity in the last 24 hours. More like the last week.
Not good. Not good. Yeah, I'm excited for a lot of these projects to just like fade away. We'll see.
It was really nice to talk to you, and I'm happy that we had this conversation. And could you please remind the audience how you can be contacted and how they can find you and watch your works? And I guess you have your episodes on YouTube or on DTube or something.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at Crypto Brekkie. That's Brekkie. But my videos are on YouTube, most of them, and the longer videos have been blocked, so they are on BitTube now. So if you just search for Crypto Brekkie or Brekkie von Bitcoin or blockchain and Morty, you'll be able to find them really quickly, even if you Google them. So yeah, Vlad, I'm really glad we got to do this. As I said before, like you were one of like the earliest blockchain and Morty fans. That means a lot, really means a lot to me. So
no, I'm not sure if I was the most consistent. I didn't watch all the episodes, but when I saw one, I took the time to watch it. And just so you know, my favorite one is the one with the micro universe, in which Rick gets and finds out that everybody is running miners.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite also. I kind of want to do another one because like, you know how they go into that battery, but then they go into the next battery. I should like extend the episode longer, maybe. That could be a fun project.
Sure. I look forward to watching that.
Maybe it'd be like a lightning network kind of thing or something. I don't know.
So you have a second layer as a second dimension in the show.
Right. Yeah, so there we go. Well, that works.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good, Vlad. Take care.
Bye.